It was one of those late winter nights when the air feels heavy and sound travels strangely. The kind of night where you can hear your own heartbeat if you sit in silence long enough. Nina was alone in her parents' house. They'd gone on a weekend trip, leaving her in charge since she was 17 and responsible enough to handle herself. She didn't mind, she liked the quiet. It gave her a chance to read, binge shows, and stay up later than usual. The house sat at the edge of a cul-de-sac, with a small yard and woods just beyond the fence. During the day, the view from her bedroom window was peaceful. But at night, when the trees swayed against the black sky, it looked like a wall of shadows waiting to creep forward. It was close to midnight when she first noticed it. She was curled up on the couch, scrolling her phone, when she heard something faint, like gravel shifting under footsteps. She paused, listening. The heater kicked on, the pipes groaned. Ordinary house sounds. She shook it off. But the feeling didn't go away, that prickling unease, the sense that she wasn't as alone as she thought. She finally pulled back the curtain in the living room and glanced outside. For a moment, nothing, just the dim glow of the porch light and the empty yard. But as her eyes adjusted, she saw him, a man, standing at the edge of the woods, not moving, not speaking, just standing there, facing the house. Her breath caught in her throat. She let the curtain fall back into place, heart pounding. It's nothing, just a trick of the shadows. I'm imagining things. But when she dared to peek again, he was still there. Tall, thin, clothes dark and baggy. His head tilted slightly, as if he were curious, watching. She grabbed her phone and texted her best friend. "I think someone's outside." The reply came quick. "Call the cops." But Nina didn't. Part of her felt stupid. He wasn't doing anything, just standing there. Maybe it was some random guy passing through. Maybe she was overreacting. Except he didn't leave. Minutes dragged by, and he remained rooted at the tree line, his pale face barely visible under the porch light's glow. She closed all the curtains and retreated to the kitchen, trying to distract herself with a glass of water. That's when she heard it. Crunch. The sound of footsteps on the gravel driveway. Her stomach dropped. Slowly, she peered around the corner toward the front door. Through the thin gap in the curtain, she saw movement. He was closer now, standing at the edge of the driveway, still watching. Her hands shook as she finally dialed 911. The dispatcher answered, calm and steady, telling her to lock the doors and stay on the line. Nina obeyed, securing every lock she could find, whispering updates into the phone. But when she passed the sliding glass door in the kitchen, her blood ran cold. He was at the fence now. His hand rested on the wooden slats, fingers curling slowly over the edge as though testing the strength. His head tilted again, and for the first time he smiled. It wasn't a normal smile, too wide, too stiff, like he had practiced it but never learned how. The dispatcher assured her officers were on the way. But in the silence between their words, Nina heard something else. Tap, tap, tap. She whipped around. The sound was coming from the window above the sink. He was there, face pressed against the glass, smiling that same horrible smile, his hand tapping gently, rhythmically, as though he were keeping time with her heartbeat. Nina screamed, ducking down, begging the dispatcher to hurry. She could hear the dispatcher calling her name, but all Nina could focus on was the sound of those deliberate taps, steady as a metronome. And then silence. When she looked again, he was gone. The police arrived minutes later, lights flashing, sweeping the yard and the woods. But there was no sign of him, no footprints, no broken fence, nothing. They reassured her it was probably a trespasser who fled when he heard the sirens. They promised to patrol the neighborhood through the night. But Nina knew what she saw. She didn't sleep. She sat in the hallway with every light on, clutching a kitchen knife, ears straining for any sound. At around 3 in the morning, just as exhaustion began to drag at her eyelids, she heard it again. Tap, tap, tap. This time it came from the living room window. Her phone slipped from her hand. Slowly, against every instinct, she turned her head, and there he was. The man stood at the glass, that grotesque smile plastered across his face. His hand moved slowly up and down the pane, smearing faint trails as though he were drawing something only he understood. But what chilled her most wasn't his face. It was his other hand. In it, he held something shiny, a single house key, her house key. The next morning, her parents returned to find her trembling, pale, and barely able to speak. The police searched again, but still found nothing. Every key in the house was accounted for, every lock intact. But Nina knew what she saw wasn't a dream, because sometimes, late at night, when she closes her eyes, she swears she can still hear it. Tap, 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 as if he's still outside, as if he's waiting for the right night. The night she forgets to lock the door,